Yeah, I got a lot of Marvel stuff, got some miscellaneous stuff. So, what do you want to do?
Take a nap. I don't know. We don't have an intro. Welcome, everybody, to the Glaziar Gamble with Michael Glaziar and Joe Rybolt. We have the Marvel section here that you clicked on /entertainment. We do all bunch of fun stuff. Yeah, so we have two sections. We have a sports section as well. If you like sports, feel free to check that out. Otherwise, we got some great stuff for you today. We have a bunch of Marvel news. Let's start. So we got Nova Project, Doctor Doom, Secret Invasion news, Multiverse of Madness, more stuff. Not very much because last week we went over tons of it. A lot of Sony product stuff like Spider-Man, Madam Web, Miles Morales, Deadpool 3 news, Eternals 2, some X-Men /mutant stuff. And then we're going to shoot our shot. We'll just tease you that we're going to shoot our shot today. And then we also have some miscellaneous news with Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, Ezra Miller, Mortal Kombat 2, Blizzard.
I should have said the other part of the Ezra Miller stuff. That would have captured people's attention.
Some more DC news that we've been talking about, Apex Legends, the Batman.
A lot of miscellaneous this week, which is kind of fun. It's
kind of fun. People are gonna hopefully be excited for it because that's been some of our more animated sections. So if they like us, if they find us entertaining, those will be the ones that they're like, okay, these guys are cool. If not, they're like, these guys fucking suck. So the first thing, let's talk about Marvel. Nova Project is in the works. Apparently this is just a rumor about Nova, the superhero, which is the Nova Corps, all of their
what happened on Xandar, which we didn't get to see, Thanos' destruction of Xandar. There's two different Novas in the comics. There's the more well-known, I believe, Richard Rider, and
with
then
the red helmet.
There's the younger one, which is Sam Alexander. I believe that is correct. So I believe we would get a Richard Rider Nova, because then they could always pass that along to a young Sam Alexander and continue the mantle, I guess. So
sure. Well, since it's just a rumor, we don't have much on it. I agree they'd probably go with the Dick Rider over Sean Alexander.
Sam Alexander.
I know.
I said football player.
Running back.
People who are here, they have no idea who Sean Alexander is. Come on.
But anyway, just some rumors, so we don't have too much information.
We were talking in our break between filming the sports one and filming this one, and we were like, what's going to happen with the Guardians? As you know, James Gunn made a statement, and I was like, well, Nova could fill in this new Guardians team if that's how they're gonna do it.
If they be perfect to bring Star of Lords, the Lord of Stars.
Sounds so feminine.
The Lord of Stars.
It's like our Prince of Flowers.
Lord of Stars sounds like a Sailor Moon villain.
It sounds like a book.
Lord of the Flies.
I don't know. Lord of the Stars just seems like a love
Lord
book.
of the Rings. Maybe Lord of the Flies, Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Stars. It's a really popular trilogy. But yeah, so we don't have too much information on that because it's just a rumor. Another one that's just a rumor is there's apparently a Doctor Doom project that's in the works. We mentioned last week Black Panther 2 that Doctor Doom might make an appearance. We don't believe that has any validity.
I don't know how much I believe in this either, but it could be.
There's no way they would have a Doctor Doom project like first. So this project that's in the works would have to be pretty far down the line. They would have to be after Fantastic Four.
After the introduction of Latveria, probably.
I would love a Doctor Doom movie, though. Give us a background on a villain and background on the heroes before they come in.
It'd be super weird to just have the villain, not the villain be the hero, but the villain, like the main character be the villain this whole time. It be super dark, and
it probably wouldn't feel like, especially if it ends with them becoming the villain, because you'd probably want them to be the villain for the majority of the movie. I imagine a villain movie would be them doing the backstory from before they were a villain, which would not feel like a superhero movie.
Something along the lines of like in The Walking Dead, if you were following Negan's group the whole time, then Rick's group would be the villain.
Yeah,
if Rick's group would seem like the villain and Negan would be the good guy, but it was
except
reversed.
Negan probably wouldn't feel like the good guy just because of the things he was doing.
Well,
you would just be rooting for the bad guy.
Rick was killing people too. It's just the way
He was
Negan
he was killing bad guys. I don't know. I feel like if you were to follow Negan, you'd be like, this is a pretty dislikable good guy.
Oh, he's likable.
Well,
he's charismatic.
He's charming. Yeah. He's not likable. Yeah. There's a difference.
I don't know. The world of The Walking Dead, anything can be. You could take anyone's side and probably be right.
I've been crying for a villain movie, but I don't think they'll do a Doom movie. If they do, I don't know if it's going to feel like a superhero movie.
Especially because it's like you're going to have to introduce all of the Fantastic Four members, and I don't know how you do that without it not being centered around them too. So
right, yeah, unless you do like, because the big thing with Fantastic Four is Galactus or Silver Surfer.
Right.
You'd have to have the primary focus of him be like Galactus or Silver Surfer, but that you want to be in a Fantastic Four movie.
Exactly. So
I don't know. If they do it, they'll probably do it right, but me personally, I don't know how they'd figure that out. The next thing is we have gotten some official set photos from Secret Invasion. We've gotten like little tidbits here and there. All of the stuff that we've seen for Secret Invasion has been either like Samuel L. Jackson credit scenes in movies or just like, it's really been more like about the Marvels. Oh, that looked like it was for Secret Invasion. No, that was for Marvels.
Right.
We finally got some set photos and ones of Kobe Smulders, and it's her with her like bloody nose.
Yeah. Which she had a bloody face or something like that.
Yeah, which it was like the same exact makeup style that she had in, I can't remember the movie that it was, but it was almost the same. So people are wondering if that's going to show the timeline or if maybe she's supposed to be like a previous timeline.
Sure.
Like maybe a flashback of some sorts.
Right.
And then the other thing was a onset of Emilia Clarke's character, her Skrull.
Yeah, no one really knows who she is. She was just in green. She was in the green getup, which is there's a I believe it's a mutant that is tied to the Secret Invasion storyline, and a lot of people think she's very green.
And which mutant is that?
Abigail Brand. That's who it is.
Extraterrestrial father raised on planet Axis. And she inherited the X gene from her mom on Earth.
Yeah.
So she's
a lot of people think.
Half mutant.
Yeah, a lot of people think that is going to be Emilia Clarke's character, because
God, her brother's name.
What is it?
Lothathenriaxiaxis.
Oh,
all one word.
Lothathenriaxiaxis. Yeah, very easy. There's a green furry
affiliated with Sword.
Yeah. So a lot of people think it could be her. Obviously, they'll probably do a different kind of rendition, I imagine. And it might be a bigger role because it is Emilia Clarke, but
it'll probably be a bigger role. They're not going to sign on Emilia Clarke to do a side thing.
Yeah.
She's not Alexander Skarsgård,
Right.
I'm still upset about that. More on
like Brad Pitt was on there, like Brad Pitt too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Not going to waste
Terry Crews,
such big names on small roles. Emilia Clarke her character is going to be bigger because she's attached to Sword. There's a good chance she also makes her way into Marvels. A lot of the characters in Secret Invasion have a good chance of ending up in the Marvels.
Sure.
Another movie that we've kind of already talked about, not as like we've talked about it more than Secret Invasion, but there's been a lot more information, is Multiverse of Madness. Apparently it was it was listed as a rumor, but it was listed by multiple sources, and there's a good chance it actually happens, is that Tobey Maguire will be in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, we've talked about
if that happens, that means there's a much higher chance of Andrew Garfield, much higher chance of Spider-Man stuff.
Well, it also depends on if our Defender Strange theory is true, and that Defender Strange just so happens to be the Doctor Strange from Tobey's universe that J. Jonah Jameson confirmed that was there. Yeah, so potentially that could be the case. I've also seen some rumor of like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is going to have a scene where he fights Scarlet Witch, and I was like, do we want him to die? Like,
right, he's gonna die if that happens. Which I've said it before, I don't want Tobey's Spider-Man to die because his has been the one that's like, we need to send him off into the sunset.
Yeah, we need a Logan one with him where it's like,
please,
rated R.
Or just a happy ever after. I'm sure. I don't want him to have a super sad story to end because that's not the way Tobey should be finished off. If he needs help finishing off, I'm here for him. All right. But yeah, so I don't know. We talked about the potential characters in Multiverse of Madness in an episode or in a clip and part of the episode last week. I don't know if I can believe the Spider-Man. I think this is just like we mentioned. They're gonna say everybody is in Multiverse of Madness. Where at some point, every person that you've ever heard of or potential is going to say, oh, they're in Multiverse of Madness. Because if they tell you 400 people that are in it, they're going to tell you everybody that's in it. You're just not going to know which one.
Right.
And I think because Multiverse of Madness is supposed to have the largest superhero cast ever, they have to do that. They don't have any other option. I wouldn't be surprised to see them bring people onto set that aren't in the movie.
Right.
I wouldn't even be surprised. That's what I would do, because then you don't like leaked photos. It doesn't matter, and then people are gonna be like, "What happened to this photo?" And you'd be like,
we saw Mychal Fassbender. Like he
paid Mychal Fassbender $500 to show up for the day.
Yeah, he's
not in a scene. He just got $500. We had him carry around his Magneto helmet on set all day. That's what he got paid to do. Like that's what I would do. Anyway, that was our little Multiverse of Madness rumor. Now we got a set of Sony information that we wanted to talk about. The first thing is that Madam Web, they are working on a potential Madam Web movie or product. They call it product. So obviously it's probably a movie.
So I know J-Law has kind of been linked to this one before. And I just wanted to have a quick conversation about the fact that Sony has just basically said they're working on a project with X Spider-Man character, Y Spider-Man character, A through Z, basically. Just the whole shebang is getting a movie or a show or something. And I don't know what they're doing, what they're trying to do here. Like, I get it. Maybe it'll make sense after Morbius and the Morbius reshoots and stuff. Maybe it'll make sense, but I'm having trouble figuring out what they want to do by releasing 600 different Sony shows.
It seems like they're trying to contest with other Marvel stuff. It's more of just, I think they realize how much money it makes.
Yeah.
And they're just going to pump out quantity, it seems
like. A Rhino movie is not going to do what Venom did.
No. Nobody's going to start
Sandman movie is not going to do what Venom did. A Madam Web movie is not going to do what Venom did.
Madam Web might.
Not a lot of people. Like, I don't know.
Obviously, it depends on how well they do it.
Like, it depends on what avenue they're doing too. Because I know that they were going to do like a Silk show, like through Amazon.
Silco, yep.
Through like Amazon, yeah, Silk show, through like Amazon's. I mean, like if they're doing all these properties on different like avenues, but I don't know.
I don't know either. It feels very DC of them,
which is not
the right decision. I agree though. Venom had a fan base before Venom came out.
Right.
Venom was huge. I think Madam Web has the best potential for the one like Rhino, Sandman, Electro, Madam Web.
Spider-Woman would be a good.
Which Spider-Woman's another one of those products that's been hinted at, or that Spider-Woman might show up in a future Spider-Man movie. So yeah, all that is there for potential, but I agree 100%. I don't understand the reasoning for it other than money.
Yeah, I'd have to see what happens. I got to see what happens with Morbius, I think, because I think that might be like, all right, there's this other universe that Sony's working on or Sony's going to do. So
they either have to be so not well known that it makes sense to do their own solo movie like Morbius, or they have to be so well known that they do well like Venom.
Right.
So those half and halves like Sandman, where they have a fan base, but they also have people that have no idea.
Right.
Like when they hear Sandman, they think of the song.
Right.
Like those middle of those little like, well, or Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. You know that one? It's like from the 50s.
Metallica.
30s. Right. I mean, Enter Sandman. Yeah. Enter Sandman, obviously. But so people think of the songs over the hero. And so we're just complete opposites. Mr. Sandman. One of us is we'll both walk into like a wrestling match and you'll have Enter Sandman and I'll have Mr. Sandman.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. I don't think that's very smart to do what DC does. I think you should follow what Marvel does, but unless you're trying to build like a Sinister Six movie or series, even then, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Weird. Anyway, next on Sony products, it's getting hefty. Next on Sony products is that the official script for No Way Home said that MJ has a lingering sense of recognition as some dude Peter Parker walked out the door.
I don't know who that is, but
Right, but she apparently has a former, as if like she knows who he is.
Lingering
He
sense
does
of
look
recognition.
familiar.
I swear I've seen him in things, but
yeah,
I
apparently,
don't know.
like I feel the same way that MJ felt. Like, yeah, he looks familiar, but he was really just kind of awkward and quiet.
Yeah, I don't get why that whole movie was about some dude we have no idea who it is.
Right,
This whole time. So
absolutely, it just felt weird. People are saying it's like one of the best superhero movies ever, and it's like,
right.
who is it even?
Don't
about?
even know the character's name, right? Like
yeah.
Spider-Man shows up a little bit, but like who's this guy? Very dumb.
But yeah, apparently the official script says that MJ recognizes this guy. And then the last bit of Spider-Man specific, and then we have one last Sony product. Spider-Man Miles Morales is rumored to be introduced in Spider-Man 4. This would be a Spider-Man story or movie led by Tobey Maguire, right? Or would this be
No, I think it's still Tom Holland's.
Okay, because that's going to get confusing because people are talking about a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, and people are talking about a Spider-Man 4 of Tom Holland. So like when I read this, I thought this was Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 4.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, I think it's still with Tom's.
Okay.
And I guess it makes sense. I know they want to introduce him. They could do he's got ties with Kingpin. He's got ties with Prowler, Aaron
Would
Davis.
It be Jaden Smith though?
No.
If you watch our theory video, it wouldn't be Jaden Smith.
No, I don't know. I expect them to bring more Spidey people, and for them Miles to be in the MCU still lets Sony do their thing.
Into the Spider-Verse was too popular. Marvel, as soon as Into the Spider-Verse happened, Marvel was like, who can we get to play Miles? Like, I guarantee they were like, all right, who we cast? And they were probably also like, Gwen Stacy's gotta come and like it's gotta be
Felicia
Gwen
Hardy
with powers. It can't just be like Emma Stone's where she doesn't have any powers. Like, gotta be something.
There's rumors of them doing like a possibly a Spider-Gwen movie, and it would essentially be like The Amazing Spider-Man 3. It would be Spider-Gwen being able to like jump through portals to different realities and meeting the Peter Parker that lost her Gwen when she lost her Peter Parker. So it'd be like Emma Stone as Spider-Gwen.
I want a live action female Doc Ock. So if they do a Spider-Gwen movie, I want her to have a female Doc Ock. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
What is it? Not Otto Octavius, but it's Octavius.
Yeah. So, I don't know, something like that.
I would love live action female Doc Ock because the Catherine Hahn animated one was great. I liked it. So, so Miles Morales, rumored to be in a Spider-Man 4. We know there's going to be another trilogy. So that means if he's in 4, he'll probably be in 5 and 6, or 4 would be setting up his own series of movies.
His own trilogy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we're going to have nine Spidey movies in the MCU.
That's a lot of Spider-Man, but it's also the most profitable. We've talked about it before. 9 out of every 10 action figures is a Spider-Man action figure sold. So I get wanting to push it. That's why Disney tried so hard to purchase it from Sony, and why Sony tried so hard to
hold on to it,
not letting go of that thing. Like zero chance Sony lets that go. So I get it. I'm all for Miles Morales. The more Spider-Man stuff, the better. I've always said like, oh, my favorite superheroes: Iceman, Moon Knight, Loki, and
Venom,
and it's like Venom, and then you realize like when you think of all the other people you like in Marvel, it's like that's a lot of Spider-Man people.
There's a lot of people.
I'm all for it. That'll be cool. And then I think adding a young actor to play Miles Morales lets you send Spider-Man into other, like, oh, we can have Spider-Man interact with Deadpool as Miles. We can have Spider-Man as Tom Holland. We can have Spider-Man as go into the X-Men. Like Miles can go like work with the X-Men.
Right.
Like you just
Peter Parker could help join the Fantastic Four like he does in the comics. Like he'd be part of the Fantastic Four. Yeah. So
maybe Tom Holland joins the Illuminati, which is why we don't really see him anymore, and then Miles becomes the main Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'd love to see a like Tom Holland and Deadpool thing. Like even if it's after Tom Holland's trilogy or whatever, and he's like, I don't know if I'm gonna do Spider-Man again, and then it's just like Deadpool 4 is like, you know what I mean? Well, I'm sure they'd love that.
I think Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland on screen together as
would be awesome. Would be amazing.
I don't want to sound too biased because I know if anybody's seen previous episodes, they know that I like Andrew Garfield's is my favorite. I think Andrew Garfield's banter with Ryan Reynolds
that'd be good too.
Best.
Yeah, but I also think like him with Tom Hardy. It's gonna be him with Tom Hardy.
And that's the thing is like Ryan Reynolds has such good like improv because he's basically is that character all the time.
Right.
Tom Holland is amazing at just doing it on the spot. You tell him a direction, but you don't give him the lines like, "Oh, do this," and then he just comes up with gold.
You can't tell him too much, or he's gonna spoil it. So
right. So I think you put him on screen with Deadpool, and you just tell them both like, "Here's the topic, go." And I think both of them would create gold there. So yeah. I think it'd be amazing. I want Spider-Man and Deadpool to cross over because in the comics it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So imagine it now.
Yeah, and it's like Peter Parker's like climbing up a wall, and Deadpool's like bear hugging him from behind as they're trying to like go up it. It's like, I love you.
Love them. Oh, it's so good. There's one that I don't want to go into a random tangent.
So this last one was just some concept art that apparently was from Sony in regards to if the multiverse direction didn't work out with Spider-Man No Way Home, then they had this concept art ready as kind of like we could do this for Spider-Man No Way Home.
This was the one on top of the Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah. So it's Mysterio fighting Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yep. So this is a huge, in my opinion, this is a big deal. It's not a huge deal, but it's a big deal because it's like they believe that Mysterio's there. They know that Mysterio's alive still, right? Like Sony believes Mysterio's alive still, or they had plans to bring him back from the dead. I mean, I believe he's still alive because like the one dude, his man behind the counter, like didn't freak out at all. Like he wasn't sad at all. He just kind of was like, oh, we have 500 drones active, and then closed his computer and sent something. Like he wasn't panicking at all.
Right.
I don't know. I think Mysterio's still alive, but the fact
because
that they
of
would
the
have
character, it's hard to believe Mysterio's.
Yeah, and just the way the wording that like Spider-Man did, he's like, is this real? It's like, well, yeah, according to the Stark bots that you own, that's real. But like he has 500 of his own that could be projecting something too. So
right.
And then in just the concept art of Mysterio fighting Doctor Strange, Doctor Strange would probably wipe the floor with him. But then again, where is Mysterio at this time? Like, because it's obviously not him floating around in the air. So
right.
I feel like would have been able to like winds of Watum and just everything goes away.
This version of Mysterio, as opposed to the comic version, I feel like would get absolutely annihilated.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe.
Figure out their like robots, and then he would, I don't know.
Right, he could just take them to the mirror dimension, and they don't even get a fight there.
Yeah,
he has to fight on Doctor Strange's turf.
Yeah, so I think that's a big deal because I think. It's like, oh, they were planning to bring Mysterio back to like have a battle with Strange,
but it also could have been the Mysterio from Tobey's universe.
It could have been Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. Could have been that version as well.
But would he look like ours?
No,
I don't know.
He would look probably more comic book
cartoony. Yeah. So I thought that was cool. And I think Mysterio's still out there, folks.
Yeah, I think so too. It's if you don't see the actual death. You know, I don't know. It's weird. Mysterio's one of those yeah. We mentioned Deadpool, so let's jump into some Deadpool stuff. The first thing is that Zazie Beets is set to return as Domino.
I think it's just kind of a no-brainer. If you're bringing some people over from that Fox universe with Deadpool specifically, Dopinder maybe.
Well, she was such a hit to fans.
Yeah.
Like fans loved Domino. My wife doesn't like superhero stuff. Like she's kind of given up on watching superhero stuff with me. She loved Domino. Yeah. So even like non-superhero fans loved Domino. She was cute and she was fun and she was so good in the movie. And I was like, yeah, it was super good. So
it's fun seeing that like superpower. Like they're like, what's your superpower? She's like, I'm lucky. And they're like, pretty sure it's not a superpower. And she's like, pretty sure it is. So it's funny seeing all those things like go her way, like
right.
She's lucky.
Well, and then cool. The type of character bounces with Deadpool so well
because he can be unlucky and get like shot in the face. But
and then he was like, I like you, like she was just the way she acted when she was like, pretty sure it is. He was like, pretty sure it's not. And he just ends up liking her. So I think that's a again, like you said, no brainer.
Yeah,
that's a character.
The big three. There's like a big three from the Deadpool franchise, and I feel like it's Deadpool, Cable, and Domino. So,
and I even think that it's just Deadpool and Domino, and then Dopinder.
Yeah.
Dopinder would probably be my third. Like the X-Men, you can.
Oh no, I would take Peter probably. That's to do with the mustache that just shows up.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's funny. He's like trying to save Alexander Skarsgård character, and he's like, "No, back away!" Like when he goes back in time, he's like, "Back away, save yourself."
Yeah, we'll bring back Peter. And then our next thing of Deadpool news involves Josh Brolin. Yeah, Josh Brolin is apparently returning as Thanos and Cable. Cable would be for Deadpool 3, and Thanos would either be for Eternals 2 or a Starfox movie. Fun fact about Starfox, that was a last-minute decision to add Harry Styles in Starfox. They added him on like the last day of filming.
Nice.
So that whole Harry Styles plus Patton Oswalt's little dude,
Pip the Troll,
Pip, that was added last minute. Originally was not planned, which makes me think, what was the credit scene going to be?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think Harry Styles fits what Star Fox is. I just think you gotta get more of a background on him and Thanos. I want to see what happened on Titan. If they're the Celestials, like if Thanos was trying to save his people from an awakening or whatever, like a celestial birth. Or
it would also be nice. I've mentioned it so many times, but I would also love to see Thane if they're going there.
Sure.
If we see Thanos again, we're going back to Titan, or at least mention, like, especially if we are going to bring in the Inhumans, at least reference Thane.
Right. Thane. I mean, Thane and Supergiant are still pieces you can use, and so like that's Thane's uncle, is Star Fox.
And I want Thane because I think Thane's a cool character, and then you could have the Infinity Armor.
Yeah, it's not just the Gauntlet. Yeah, if they want to run that storyline, which I think is a sick thing.
It is a sick storyline. So the Infinity Armor and it would just, people like the look of the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
You could have a full set of armor. I don't think that's like a necessary thing, but Thane is just a character. You don't even have to do that sort. You could make it good guy Thane. Like you could do the version of where Thane's just a good guy.
Right.
Works for me. Obviously, maybe that's what they're doing with Star Fox. He's the relative of Thanos. That's the good guy.
Right.
Yeah. Star Fox.
Yeah.
Star Fox. Anybody who played Star Fox, the
Super Smash Bros.
Melee version, get out of here.
You mean the best one?
Yeah, get out of here.
Smash Bros. Melee.
But yeah, so Josh Brolin coming back as Thanos, I think that's smart money wise, and if it's showing how Star Fox got to if it's a prequel to the Eternals credit scene.
Right.
That would also make a lot of sense. Or just show flashbacks and then have it be now.
Sure.
And then obviously as Cable, he was a very popular character. It's just he doesn't have access to his watch anymore or whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, unless he goes and finds Deadpool, I guess. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd rather have Thanos come back than Cable. But I get why you bring both of them back. I don't have much else to say on that. But we did mention Eternals. And we mentioned Eternals because Joe had an actual question about the Eternals. We'll mention that right after this. The Eternals visual effects supervisor says the Ebony Blade will appear in Blade, as Dane Whitman will as well.
Right. So this kind of makes sense. You get the cameo, the voice cameo with
Mahershala Ali.
What's his name? Eric Stevens. I believe is what Blade's name is, Eric Stevens.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, you get Blade with the voice cameo, and then he's tied to Dane Whitman in that moment, and then it's like, where is he gonna go from there? If Blade knows something about the Ebony Blade, he probably knows more about it than you do, in regards to what your family has done with it. And so, if you want to go battle this giant alien in space that took your girlfriend, why not do why not learn about what you can do with said blade, said curse or whatever. So
I think that'd be cool. You're his robot girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. She's not real, right? She's not.
She's created. Anyway, I think that'll be cool. That was expected. because of the credit scene. So I didn't think that was like huge breaking news, but it was nice to get the confirmation. However, you did have one question regarding the Eternals. You asked, would Thor clap the cheeks of all the Eternals? So that's
I said yeah. I think he'd kill all of them. That's just me. Like if like God mode Thor, like all thundered up, like lightninged up, I think with Stormbreaker, I think he'd kill them all.
Yeah, Icarus would be the tough one.
I think Icarus would give him a little bit of a challenge just because Icarus can fly around so fast. But I mean, Thor can get in space too, I guess. So, or you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, for me, so like Maguire would be able to get stopped. Like
if Maguire gets clipped by clipped by anything, I don't know, like Thor she'd bounce.
I feel like he would probably call thunder onto himself as she was coming.
Yeah, so like he had an electric field around him. Maguire couldn't get close. So
and then or like he could swing his hammer around so fast that she'd get hit by it.
And Stormbreaker.
And Stormbreaker. Both and Druid.
Druid would have a chance if he can mind control him, but I don't know how strong
can he mind control a god? But that's the thing, so the Eternals are created by Celestials.
Yeah.
Would you say a Celestial is a higher rank than a god?
Yeah, but I don't.
Like, couldn't a Celestial create the Eternals to destroy Asgard? Or is that because Asgard's a realm, not a planet?
I don't know. Like,
because I feel like gods are.
What
in
if
their
the
own...
Celestials never touched Asgard because it was too powerful?
Well, and that's how I feel. I feel like because like they deal with planets because they can handle planets, and Asgard's not a planet. Asgard's a realm.
Yeah, it's like a floating rock, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, like a floating rock with like an orbit.
Yeah,
it's not a planet.
Yeah, it's probably like it's got some moons and stuff, but like it's like.
Yeah, it's in a galaxy.
No, like if you did the reverse, like would Hela kill them all?
Yeah,
right. So like Hela would dumpster Athena. Like there's not even like it's not even a.
See that I think Icarus is the biggest question mark. All the rest I think are destroyed.
Yeah, but if Icarus tried to like punch, like try to fight Thor, and Thor could like grab, like it'd be one of those like grab their fist and like. They'd be like, oh shit, and then Thor would just like ragdoll them. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like Thor could kill them all.
I agree. I do think Thor would clap the cheeks. I think Icarus having the ability, a bunch of different. He has like light beams. It's just how much of an effect do those have? Like, can the light beams actually damage Thor?
Well, here's the thing: Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet blast couldn't stop Stormbreaker.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's no way Icarus's eye blasts are going to be stronger than
Thor
a full
got beaten
Infinity
to the
Gauntlet.
ground by Hulk at like full strength and was fine.
Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, like outside of Scarlet Witch, like Thor's right there next, right?
Yeah.
Like Thor could kill Captain Marvel. So
Thor could have killed Thanos. He just didn't go for the head.
Yeah. So I mean, those two individually could kill Thanos probably. So
yeah, I would say he beats the Eternals, which is why the Celestials probably don't even attempt messing with things like Asgard or other things along that line.
Right.
Like they wouldn't try to do that to Ego.
Yeah, they didn't try that. Yeah. By the way, where your face is and your brain is, we're gonna just start a Celestial farming right there.
Yeah.
Like, Ego would eat it alive.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
I think that answers your question well. Anyway, we have two last Marvel things before we jump into our big miscellaneous section. The first thing is Kelly Hu plays Lady Deathstrike in X-Men. She's the one with the long finger blades that doesn't talk. She's the other one that has the same healing powers as Wolverine. Which is why they knew they could give her an adamantium skeleton as well. She said that she would love to come back and play the character again. She said it makes total sense. She said she would just only come back if they gave her lines because not having lines ruins the character. She's like, why have a character come back and not talk? And she also thinks that she would be able to add more to the character by adding vocals.
I mean, I agree that you would add more if you could add vocals, but I also don't think she's that big of a villain. I mean, she is a pretty big villain, but there's so many other villains in the X-Men universe.
You need small villains too, though.
Right. Right. And I guess,
especially in such a huge universe.
I mean, I wouldn't be a pro. Like if they want to go like down the line, like they have to establish the mutant universe first. But if they down the line they want to bring her back as Lady Deathstrike in a future project, I have no problem with that. I mean, I can't say I didn't like her performance or I liked her performance. So
yeah, I think if she is another one of those, if she wants to, that's a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be like a good villain for like an X-23, I guess.
Sure,
it's like
or maybe just like if they did end up doing a series of X-Men as opposed to movies, if they did have like a smaller series,
yeah, it could be just a Weapon X program type thing,
yeah,
right? Because like it was the same thing. There's made in the Weapon X program right next, like that's where she fought Wolverine.
Yeah,
so.
Or Multiverse of Madness, because that was what she was connected to, was potentially coming for Multiverse of Madness. So there's another one of the 400 people they'll mention for Multiverse of Madness.
Nice.
The last Marvel thing is we just have interview. Joe has an interview question.
So I was thinking the other day, like if you could pick 3 people from the MCU, let's just say from this phase.
Okay.
So phase 4, so starting with WandaVision through Spider-Man No Way Home. Who would you want to interview? Like if you could get someone on our podcast to interview. My first would be Scarlet Witch.
My first thought is Simu Liu. My very first thought, like I know we've kind of talked about this in the past. Like I feel like when we talked about that in the past, like, oh, dream guests on the show, my first thought there was also Simu Liu. So my first thought this time around is Simu Liu.
Right.
I'd want Tom Hiddleston.
Okay. So I was thinking like Scarlet Witch was mine.
Yeah.
And then Simu Liu was my other right there. Both of these guys.
There you go. Yeah. Simu Liu.
Scarlet Witch, Simu Liu. And then mine probably would be either Tom Holland, but I also thought of something like Jonathan Majors.
Jonathan Majors would be cool.
Super, super cool. Kind of in the realm of the Loki, same series or whatever.
Lots of people from Loki are desirable interviews, because like Owen Wilson would also be amazing to talk to. Wow. Well, he doesn't like WoW. He has a new one. He didn't say what. Yeah, but he didn't say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like, ow. Yeah.
he didn't say what it is, and then I can't remember who he was interviewing with. Ed Helms said, "Is it whoa?" But yeah, I think so. Tom Hiddleston would also be one of my top choices, because I'm huge fan of him and a huge fan of Loki. I genuinely feel like with Tom Hiddleston, I would be a little bit just
starstruck, taken back. Yeah.
It would be
really, that'd be me with Scarlet Witch.
Well, I don't necessarily feel like I wouldn't feel that way with Simu Liu, but I feel like Simu, with his personality, I feel like he would make me feel comfortable. Yeah, I think Tom Hiddleston, Simu Liu, and then it would be hard. It's hard to just pick 3, because obviously Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Kat Dennings, Catherine Hahn are all people from WandaVision I'd want to bring on, and all those people are people I like as people.
I wouldn't mind doing Kit Harington too.
Yeah,
but if I had to pick 3, I would choose Scarlet Witch, Simu Liu, and Jonathan Majors. I think those would be the big 3 for me. I think all of them would be great interviews, and
Florence Pugh would be fun. Haley Steinfeld
would be hard not to pry, but we wouldn't pry.
Right.
I would ask them say Simu Liu. I would ask 10 questions, 1 for each ring. That's what I would do. Just 10 harmless, not prying into what are you gonna Marvel,
and that's the thing, is I wouldn't want it to all be about Marvel. I'd want to, I genuinely, which is why it would be fun to get somebody like Owen Wilson, because you could get beyond Marvel, somebody who's done so much more, just so much,
right?
And same with Tom Hiddleston. But from most recent Marvel phase, I feel like Haley Steinfeld, Simu Liu, Tom Hiddleston would probably be my top 3, but it's so hard, because Owen Wilson, Jeremy Renner, Catherine Hahn, all these people, and Catherine Hahn, I feel like is another one. The more I say it, I think I would want Catherine.
Do I want to change one of mine?
Yeah. I really like her in everything she does. She's good in romantic comedies, TV shows. It's just hard to find her to not something that she's unlikable, and so it would be fun to do that. Teyonah Parris, would be really, really fun.
Ooh, Evan Peters would be a fun one.
Evan Peters would be fun.
Yeah.
But honestly, the very first person I thought of, before you even finish your question, because I felt like I knew what was coming, was Simu Liu. He just seems so cool.
Sure. Well, I mean, He did. I mean, you saw his tweet, like the infamous tweet of his, where he was like, "Hey Marvel, yeah, let's talk Shang-Chi or whatever." So let's shoot our shot.
Yeah. Hey Simu, how about coming on? Like, you shot your shot at Marvel. We'll shoot our shot at you in a completely professional way. How about coming on and talking to us?
Answering 10 questions.
We'll keep it short for you. We won't keep you out of your day. We'll ask you one question for every ring.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll ask them. That's it for our Marvel section. That was a shooting our shot into, and now we're shooting into the miscellaneous section. The first section is still superhero, but James Gunn has approached HBO Max for a series based off of another character from Suicide Squad. I think you said
Ratcatcher 2.
Ratcatcher.
I think that would be a popular one. I don't think it's going to be Idris Elba's character because he's kind of like the lead of the Suicide Squad now. So
it's not
going to be Harley Quinn.
It won't be Harley Quinn.
So yeah, I mean, Peacemaker, Ratcatcher 2. So I mean, there's not many left. Spoiler alert, but Weasel is alive.
Pete Davidson's guy.
He's dead.
I know.
They're all dead. Weasel alive. TDK is alive. Like, I think his name's TDK. That's Nathan Fillion's character. He's still alive.
It would probably be Radigan for sure.
Ratcatcher 2. Yeah. She was cool too.
I don't know. I'm not super excited about that. It's Warner Brothers project, kind of hard to get excited.
HBO Max, I guess.
Yeah, it's James Gunn is the one I trust. But sticking with James Gunn, speaking of that, apparently he said that season 2 is looking good thanks for Peacemaker due to the success of season 1.
Right.
For those who didn't know, James Gunn did say he was coming out. He was going to take a break after Guardians. So unless he plans on making Peacemaker while making Guardians, Peacemaker 2, to me that just says either they're going to have to give him a ton of money to not take that break, which I'm sure he's not going to say no to. It's just going to be a while till it comes out.
Down the line.
Sure. After he takes a break, after Guardians comes out. I still want to see it. I have yet to watch it. I'm sure I've heard nothing but good things.
I'm just catching up on, I'm actually watching the Book of Boba Fett right now, just because I saw on Twitter that in episode 5, the Mandalorian makes an appearance. So now I was like, well, I've seen all of the Mandalorian, so now I gotta catch up on Book of Boba Fett.
I've heard there's a new character in Book of Boba Fett that everyone loves. That's a bounty hunter as well. So I haven't heard too much.
I wouldn't know yet.
My cookies understand that Star Wars isn't my favorite thing.
Sure.
The next thing is all about the KKK here.
So there's about a 49-second clip on Twitter right now of Ezra Miller sitting in his car driving somewhere. And he basically calls out this KKK based out of some city. I don't know, whatever. And he basically is just like, you know what, to the people in the KKK group in this specific city, you guys can go ahead and kill yourselves. And he's like, and if you don't want to do that, then keep doing what you're doing and see what happens, or something like that. I don't know.
I'm not sure the reasoning. I understand the sentiment.
Yeah, a lot of people. Yeah.
I understand that. However, this is the second sort of blow up incident he's had. Like, there was that whole fighting scene where he took that girl to the ground outside of the bar.
Vaguely remember that.
Yeah, they were all drunk and they had said that he isn't I don't know. It sounded like they were kind of mocking him. And he said, we can practice. We can do it. I can show you a fight move if you want. And then he kind of took her down into the snow or into the ground and took this girl down.
Sure.
And then now, it makes I know he's kind of eccentric. A lot of brilliant people are a little bit off, but it's not like he's because telling somebody to kill themselves and then telling them otherwise somebody else is going to kill you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't care who you're talking to. You kind of stop painting yourself as a good guy there.
Right.
It's kind of
it's very odd. The caption was I bet you're never gonna guess what Ezra Miller's talking about once you click this video. You can't guess what he's talking about.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what provoked it. Maybe one of his friends was attacked. I understand I understand what he's saying, but calling for the death of anyone is kind of a negative in its own right. The next thing is Mortal Kombat 2. So the first movie, they said they were only going to make another one if it was successful. The first one wasn't super successful. Coming out with a second one anyway. The main actor was signed on four movies in his contract. So they were expecting, I mean, I felt like they were going to make multiple anyway.
Yeah.
Even though they claimed they were only going to do more.
It's one of those things that's like, I guarantee it probably made more money than it cost to make.
It was also heavily pirated.
It's kind of like Warcraft. Like Warcraft did not do well in the United States, but it had such a big following around the world that it ended up making more money than what it cost to make. So like technically you could make another Warcraft because the first one didn't make money. It's not by much, but they hinted at Mortal Kombat 2 with like the end credits or like it
made 42 million in the US and 42 million in other parts of the world.
Warcraft did?
Mortal Kombat.
So I mean that's not great, but
compared to other movies that came, that is less money than Mortal Kombat Annihilation, the second one that people hated, compared to Godzilla vs. Kong that came out around the same time, which made 500 million.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think they got enough people in the universe that it's still exciting to see them. It wasn't that bad. Like it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
So it was a $60 million movie and it made 84 million.
So probably that's plus action figures and like so it made money.
Yeah, and it's a cool franchise, and I've heard it's so much better than the originals, even though they don't consider it a great movie. I don't know. I think it's cool. I love Mortal Kombat. The games are sick. It's just, you know, when they came out with the movie, I think Sub-Zero is my favorite. Always has been my favorite. So
Bihan,
we'll see if it.
Cool.
If it
from like a nerd standpoint, it's like cool.
Yeah, and it only made $20 million. So the people that didn't like it the first time around aren't going to go see it. So there's a chance that they make a negative. They're playing a risky game, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe they think that now because they released it, maybe they think now with people being more comfortable going to movies again that people are desperate.
Yeah, and if people see like, oh, they're making a second one, maybe I should go watch the first one. I don't know. Maybe it's something like that. So
yeah, that could definitely be a good play there. Speaking of games, though, because Mortal Kombat, you know, game. Blizzard apparently is working on a new survival game. I have
no idea what to expect from this. I think it's pretty like.
So was this a game that is Microsoft's idea, or was it Blizzard's before they?
See, I don't know, and I think it's pretty bold of them to do a new game when they have other franchises that need work.
Like, but they also got to make sure there's always thinking 10 years ahead. Right. Constantly re-upping your franchises. You don't know if that'll maintain success as opposed to this game, I mean
that's what they've done, right? Like that's what they've done essentially. The only kind of flop has been Heroes of the Storm, which hasn't been that great concept in theory, but it's not that popular. It's hard to make a MOBA when there's
League of Legends,
other League of Legends, or even Dota 2 still big. So
Team Fortress 2 has a cult following still, like very strong people following that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's tough, but survival mode, I don't know what to expect.
Right. Is that going to be like PUBG Fortnite style survival, or is that going to be like Battle Royale survival, or is it going to be sort of like DayZ? Yeah,
DayZ, Ark, Legend or whatever. It's like the dinosaur one.
Those.
I don't know. Yeah, I think it's weird because they've got other franchises. Like, what would have been more beneficial would have been like Blizzard. It's Blizzard. It's not like Activision owns Blizzard, but Blizzard is this like own thing, I guess. So the Blizzard stuff is all kind of like together. You know what I mean? Like StarCraft, Warcraft, Diablo, Overwatch. I mean, like they've got like their niche thing. So I don't know what to expect, but I think it's cool news. I mean, I'll probably check it out. I like Blizzard stuff. Cool. So,
game. Cool.
Game.
Cool. That's sum up our podcast in 2 words. Game. Cool. Speaking of Blizzard, Activision. Activision has already committed to releasing the next 3 Call of Duty games on PlayStation. After that, the Call of Duty on PlayStation is a question mark. I don't get why it would be a question mark. Like Microsoft just said.
Yeah. So it's like the next two Call of Duty. So there's a Call of Duty made by Activision. There's a Call of Duty made by Treyarch. They split. They go back and forth every year. Call of Duty does. And then there would be Warzone 2 apparently, which is like their battle royale. But then Microsoft did make that statement that says we have a good relationship with Sony. We'll keep Call of Duty on the PlayStation. So.
Yeah, I think after making that statement, it shouldn't be in question at all.
Right.
Obviously, their opinions, their mind could change in a few years. Microsoft doesn't want to make a statement and then be come back on it and be like, oh,
right,
no.
like at the end of the day, you're most likely going to make the deal with Sony where you're still making more money from it. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, you can still play it on PlayStation, but Sony has to give us a cut of it. So.
Yeah.
They'll figure out a way where Microsoft is still making enough money that people can still play it on PlayStation because they'd rather get the money and not alienate a fan base.
Right.
Sticking with video games though, the studio that made Apex Legend, Respawn, is working on three Star Wars games.
I don't know what to expect here either. Apex Legends has very cool graphics. It's kind of like a little different. It's not like Fortnite, but it's not like Call of Duty. It's not like Halo.
It's like a mixture of Overwatch, Fortnite. It's a mixture of all of it.
Yeah, of all that. So I don't know what to expect when it comes to Star Wars games because EA owns Star Wars.
Right.
It's the rights to Star Wars games. So are we gonna
hopefully
get
it's not stuck behind a paywall like Battlefront Tier?
Yeah. I hope it's not a paywall because I don't know. EA just kind of like shot themselves in the foot with that. We're gonna make sure all the cool characters are behind paywalls, and then we're going to. Oh, you guys don't like that? We're gonna make it so you have to play like 1,000 hours in order to get one like cool character or something like that.
Right, it was something like you had to play for the equivalent of 20 years for the average player to unlock one character.
Yeah.
Well, a few of my favorite games are actually Star Wars games that I've played. Like back in the day, like there was a Xbox, not like Xbox 360, it was the Xbox. There was a Star Wars game where you could actually like go around and you could PvP. I think it might have been Battlefront, but it was actually extremely fun, and like everybody always wanted to be like Darth Maul or Yoda or Luke.
Right. Yeah, I mean, people want to be Yoda, Vader.
It was.
Luke,
oh yeah, I think it was. I think it was Battlefront because we played PvP. If you got like a 3 kill streak or a 5 kill streak, you unlocked the Jedi. So like, if you were,
you can call the next person. Yeah. It had to be Battlefront because that's how Battlefront plays too.
Yeah, and so Battlefront was just super fun, such a fun game. And then Knights of the Old Republic. And I know they're working on a new Knights of the Old Republic game. I don't know if that's going to be by Respawn. I doubt it, but I know that Knights of the Old Republic is going to get.
There was one small. I mean, I love the Star Wars racing for 64. That one was a blast.
Yeah, they have that on Switch too.
Yeah, I played Team Topagales. That's who I always played because he had the smallest ship. And I was like, all these big ass ships can't get through these little caverns, secret passageways. So I played Team Topagales.
It was when it first came out. I got it on my Switch, and then I beat every race and like beat all the records. And I was like, oh, that was much easier than I remember.
Yeah, the 64 one was tough.
It's the same game. It's
really?
Pod
Yeah,
Racer.
I don't know.
It's the same. It's like the graphics are the same and everything.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Well, here's a fun little fact since we're bringing that up. Apparently, so in Book of Boba Fett, they're in Tatooine right now, which is where they raced, where their race was.
Yep.
And like he just came back to the town they were in, but when Luke crashed through a barrier in a speed racer back in the old Star Wars ones. And that same barrier is still broken in the Book of Boba Fett. Like they go by that same spot, and the railing is all busted from where Luke went up.
Was it Luke? Anakin,
whatever. Yeah, it's still crazy that like
when he goes up and jumps, and that's how he passes.
Yeah, okay. Yep, that barrier's still broken, like in the show. So weird. Super cool that they kept the continuity. Disney, how dare Disney keep the continuity? Like,
yeah, if this was Warner Brothers or DC, no way that
barrier would have been rebuilt.
They wouldn't. Tatooine wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Speaking of DC, though, DC apparently wants nothing to do with Ben Affleck or Henry Cavill, sparking the rumors of those two coming to Marvel, including Daredevil's cameo or Secret Wars versus MCU.
Like the MCU Daredevil, if they do like the Ben Affleck's Daredevil versus like Charlie Cox's Daredevil in Secret Wars, or something. That could be cool. Or Ben Affleck could play a different character. Who knows?
And then you said Henry Cavill is a huge question mark as Hyperion, Captain Britain, Wolverine, etc.
Yeah, who knows what he's gonna play? He can do anything.
They're gonna try to get him because he's huge and he's super good and he's a nerd. So like, they gotta get him. I think DC is weird as hell for coming out saying they want nothing to do with them. I know that the big thing is that anybody that's had success with Zack Snyder or shown support of Zack Snyder, they basically just shun now.
Yeah,
I know both of those guys. Like, I know Zack Snyder was very vocal about supporting Zack Snyder.
Yeah, and then even like what happened with the whole Ray Fisher thing and how Joss Whedon was treating people on the set of Justice League. It's the whole cast, the whole like 6 Justice League members have all been like, I hated this. It was horrible. I did not like my time there.
Which
Ray
makes me wonder,
Fisher's
are they
like,
gonna
the
get rid of
dude's
those guys
racist. Like Josh Whedon or like Ray Fisher's like, I've had a bunch of like derogatory comments of like racist remarks and stuff, and then everyone's just like, no. Like, so I don't know. And then they've all said that they loved like working for Zack Snyder. So, and Warner Brothers is like, it's not our vision, it's not our way. So I don't know.
DC and making critical mistakes for their future. Name a better duo.
Yeah.
Oh,
no
God.
kidding.
Like, you're allowing Marvel to take Henry Cavill from you when you have an actor who wanted to play this character,
who's like the perfectly cast Superman. Like, there's
so
it's
frustrating.
just bad. And then the fact that you like in your next Flash movie, you're gonna have them like reportedly get rid of all the Batman and the Superman in your worlds that have never existed.
It's almost like a vengeance thing, like a final screw you. They don't care if the movie's good, they just want to tell people we don't care. It's very strange. I mean, obviously the reset is needed for DC, but I felt like they could have done a reset with keeping Henry Cavill. And like this, I just want to know, does this mean they hate Jason Momoa, they hate Gal Gadot? Does that mean that too, or is it just Affleck and Henry Cavill?
It's just Affleck and Cavill, and then it's like, you're obviously not bringing Cyborg back. You're not bringing Ray Fisher back. So, like, who do you got left?
So weird. To vocalize it is so unprofessional. It's just so strange.
Yeah.
You would hear something like this happen. I feel like you wouldn't hear something like, oh, they absolutely hated Evan Peters. That's why they had him come back as Ralph Boner.
Yeah.
Even if that was the case, you wouldn't hear about that.
Yeah.
The only person I've ever heard Jon Favreau say he'll never work with again is Will Ferrell.
Sure.
That's it. I've never heard anybody else say, oh, Jon Favreau's impossible to work with. It was Jon Favreau saying Will Ferrell is impossible to work with.
Sure.
It's just,
I don't know. You're putting two people that have, for better or worse, done, like, a lot of people have liked them. It's like, I know everyone likes Christian Bale's Batman, but a lot of people like Ben Affleck's Batman. So now you're like putting another person on the market that's successful for your franchise to go to a competitor and be well.
You're saying that Pattinson's Batman isn't going to be part of this DCEU,
right?
Which means if he does a great job as Batman, you're opening the door to let him go, like, hey, Marvel, look how good I am at superheroes.
Right. Right.
You're opening the door. DC, man, we're available if you want some consultants, by the way.
Yeah.
My goodness. But speaking of the Batman, apparently the original test screenings for fans was 4 hours long. It was a 4-hour cut of the movie to see what fans would react to. And then the question was, would you have accepted that screening?
Right?
Yes, I would have accepted the screening because I'm going to go see it. But oh my God, if there's no intermission.
Yeah. That's like what, 2 hours and 47?
Well,
like
and a lot of fan screenings are pulling people off the street. Like, hey, you guys want to come see? They usually tell you we're screening a movie, but they don't tell you the movie that you're screening. Like, that's usually how it goes. Oh my God. If I would have been like, sure, yeah, I'll see it. How long is it?
I've heard
4 hours.
I've heard another thing from the director, Matt. Is that Matt Reeves? Is that right?
Keanu Reeves.
Okay. Right. So from Matt Reeves, I believe, is the director of it. But he said that the one of the first tweets he said after the initial, like, was 2 hours and 47 minutes, was that the score is absolutely incredible throughout the movie. And I was like, all right, that's one thing that'll entice you to, like, enjoy it more, because you're huge on score and how the music like portrays what's going on screen. So
soundtrack and score determine a lot about movies for me. That's why I like Shang-Chi so much.
That first Batman trailer had a really, like, eerie song with it too, so that's what made it
a perfect example of score setting a tone versus soundtrack. Moon Knight trailer.
Yeah, day and night. It's like perfect.
Anyway, let's continue into another kind of controversy. So I don't know if anybody has paid attention, but Disney is making a live action Snow White. They have cast a Hispanic woman to play Snow White, but they will be keeping the 7 dwarfs living as 7 different men staying in a cave. Peter Dinklage was on a podcast and vocalized how he was very angry, upset. He swore a few times. I read the full comments, read the full article, and then I listened back to the podcast. Just want to make sure I was well researched on it. Didn't want to go in blind. He was, I mean, even with the swearing stuff, he was well spoken and made some good points. It didn't come off like racist, like he was upset that a Hispanic woman was playing Snow White. It was the fact that he felt like they were trying to be progressive. So that the way he phrased it is, you're trying to be progressive and move forward by casting a Hispanic woman as Snow White. You're already changing the story. So why do all of a sudden do these 7 dwarves have to still live as cavemen in this cave? And he's like, have I done nothing to vocalize support for my people? He's like, I guess I'm going to have to speak louder. And like, you could, even reading it before I even listened, you could just hear the frustration in his voice.
Right. And for someone who's worked with Disney before, like worked with Marvel, and you know, he was, I forget the name, who he played in the Fox universe, but the guy who created the Sentinels.
Right. And then he is in Thor.
Then he's Eitri and Thor. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like Disney missed the
and the Disney responded saying that they're talking to people in the dwarf community.
Yeah.
But
they plan to make a change, I think is what they said. Yeah, they did. They spoke to members of like the dwarfism community and like I guess understood that they're in the wrong and they're making a change. So
well, and they are in the wrong. Like,
yeah,
you're trying to make a statement for progression and change the initial message that the story, the fairy tale gave by making Snow White not a white woman anymore. But then you completely backstep by just giving into every other stereotype. It's still going to be this big, dumb butcher dude that's supposed to sent to kill her, I'm sure, too. So, like, it's there. If you're going to try to stay away from some stereotypes, you're going to have to stay away from all of them. If you're really trying to get away from everything. Yeah, I'm totally on Dinklage's side here. He even said, I know this is going to be taken out of context and people are going to say I'm being racist. No, he was not. It wasn't about the fact that she wasn't white. It was about the fact that the people he feels like he represents are being presented in a bad way. So yeah, all on his side. Let's stick with the last little superhero style thing. Disney Plus has finally gotten the green light to create their Percy Jackson series on Disney Plus. It'll be streamed. It'll be a multi-part show instead of like the movies. If you haven't seen the movies before, they're not really received well by the people that read the books because it's so different than the books, like completely different. I think the acting is actually done pretty well. A lot of the actors that are in those movies are all names that have gone on to success beyond those movies. Like, I think Logan Lerman is the main guy. Like, he's been in multiple good ones, and I can't remember the girl's name, but she's in a big show right now. And like, the books are good. This has been a huge delay for multiple years. I think there was like a lawsuit, like the original author of the books weren't like, he had finally gotten the rights back or something like that, and he was stopping them from creating it until they had a discussion with him because he saw the initial remarks of what Disney was going to do and he was like, absolutely not. So there's been like a huge because this series was supposed to come out like with the release of Disney Plus.
Got it.
So it's been a huge delay because they've been in the works with it since before Disney Plus came out.
Right.
And so they finally got the green light. So I'm actually really excited for this, because that means it's finally the author's okay with it, with the direction that they're going to go with it. And that's really what matters the most, because sticking with books tends to lead to the most success.
Right. If only they were to do that with the last season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, well, they did, but George R.R. Martin hated the show after like season 4. George R.R. Martin wanted his name removed because he said what they were putting out wasn't his work anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, I think he said it was season 3 or season 4. George R.R. Martin said that what they were putting on screen is crap. And I've been told by multiple people that if you watch seasons 1, 2, and 3 and stopped, you wouldn't be disappointed.
Yeah. Well, the last season was just so bad.
Speaking of shows that are potentially going to come out, though, one of my favorite shows is a Netflix show by Matt Groening, one of my favorite creators. Super cynical. I guarantee if I met him, my opinion might change. So one of those celebrities I never think I want to meet, but he's a very interesting guy. He seems very, very smart. Maybe that's part of why he might be a little off-putting. He's just so smart. But he has a show called Disenchantment on Netflix, which is done in the animation style of Simpsons. If you don't know anything about the show, feel free to look it up, whatever. I don't need to do like any sort of synopsis, but it is an incredible show. Very funny, fantasy world. They brought in steampunk in the last season, so they're kind of changing the direction of the show. But the new season is coming out in February. I think it's like February 2nd or something. So right around the corner, like next week. I will be binging it all, probably in one sitting, maybe 2 sittings. It's so good. It's such a good show. So I'm excited for that. If you like any other recommendations we've made in the past, like I mentioned, like What We Do in the Shadows for anybody watching, if you like any of those sort of recommendations, those have been good for you. If you haven't seen Disenchantment, check it out. The last thing, there was a question on Twitter and other parts of the internet I saw it, but Twitter was the big one. If you were told there was one type of Girl Scout cookie that you could have, and that's the only cookie, not just Girl Scout cookie, the only cookie you could have for the rest of your life, which one would you pick?
This is kind of controversial because back in the day, it was not named this. It was simply named peanut butter cookie.
Yep.
That's what it was, the peanut butter cookie. But now it goes by the name of a tag along, which is very, it's hard because, you got to compete with the Thin Mint, which is very popular in itself.
And they were going to change the name of Samoas, but it looks like those are still called Samoas.
It's maybe tough for some people to hear, but the Thin Mint is not the best Girl Scout cookie.
All right, if anything, the Thin Mint is garbage.
It is the tag along.
I think they're disgusting.
It is the tag along by a mile.
Oh yeah, tag along. So I think it's the like lemon cookie fights the tag along a little bit. The Samoas, like people that don't like coconut, love Samoas. I'm not a huge coconut fan. I think you've got to cook it right, use it as the right ingredient. It's one of those things like mushrooms. If it's not the exact right ingredient, kind of is off-putting. I had a hard time deciding between Samoas and tagalongs, and then I was like, peanut butter, dude.
Yeah.
So tagalong, if you didn't say tagalongs, I mean, it's just an opinion, but you're wrong if you didn't pick tagalongs. True. It's just like, if you didn't pick tagalongs, you're wrong. I responded saying if it was tagalongs and Samoas, I could do with like no other desserts, no other cookies. Like I'm fine with just those. If I get unlimited number of Samoas and tagalongs, I'll be 400 pounds by next week. Those are so good. The lemon ones, secret OP, dark horse. Definitely
love secret OPs.
Yeah, lemon ones, secret OP. If you haven't had those ones, even you can have them with milk, chocolate milk.
Yeah,
so good. Oh man, but yeah, the lemon one's secret OP, Thin Mints, utter garbage, just trash.
I never like a York patty. You know what I mean?
York patty's also just trash.
I'd rather have a York patty though, like one York patty.
Mint Klondike bars, trash.
Not a fan of the chocolate mint or what?
Nope.
Oh,
mint chocolate is just. I understand. So like I consider myself a chef, a food connoisseur. I love cooking. And I understand taste bud breakdown wise, mint and chocolate should pair well together. When they both go into my mouth at the same time, my brain tells me that I'm eating poison. Like, it is so bad. Like, oh, I love having bitter chocolate with toothpaste. Delicious. Oh God. Why? Why mint chocolate? Or a mint chip ice cream? No, just give me, here, take all the mint out. You can all eat that straight. I'll keep the ice cream. You guys can keep the mint and chocolate. Yeah. So tagalongs by a mile isn't even
hefty
enough.
Margin.
Oh yeah. That's all we got for you. Anything else for the people? For all our fans?
Make the world a better place.
Yep. Make a difference out there. If you can, do whatever you can. The littlest change helps. What I want you all to know is that you look great today.
Enter Sandman.
Mr. Sandman. Bring me. GG.
GG.